Our next focus is going to be on the toolbar. And on the toolbar we've got some really important tools for manipulating and working with the objects inside of our environment. On the top left hand side, you'll see that we've got our move, our rotate, and our scale tools. These allow us to make a selection of an object and then actually move that object inside of our world, or rotate it in position, or scale it up and down to make sure that it's the right size for our world. It could be a giant boulder that we want to turn into a pebble, or it could be just trying to manipulate some of the modular assets that we have. Now, by moving, if we select on the move tool and we select on an object, then we see a gizmo. That gizmo tells us the directions we can move this object. These are the axes of this object. So let's go ahead and actually move this object. Let's just put our cursor on top of the little arrow, left click and drag, and that allows us to move that object up or down. If we left click and drag on the blue axis, we can move on the forward and backward direction, and the x-axis for the left and right direction. So this is how we actually move that object. If we left click in the center here, we can actually move along two axes in more of a free-form mode. Now next to the move tool we have the rotate tool. And the rotate tool allows us to actually rotate our object. We can either do a constrained rotation along the X, Y, or Z by selecting on top of that little circle, or on the inside we can do a free-form rotation. Or if we want to select on one of the axes, just left click and drag on the z-axis or on the y-axis. The next option we have is our scale tool. And the scale tool allows us to do a scaled constrained scale. This scales along all three axes at one time. Or if we're looking to scale it just along one axis, we can select on that little box and scale it up or down depending on what we need. So with that, we can actually now take any object that we bring into the game, any kind of empty game object to a complete game object, move it to where we need it, scale it up or down the way we need, or rotate it into the position that we need.